Hi, it's Dwyer. Today is November the 14th, 2017. GamblersAdvisory.com, free site. DwyerSportsBetting.com, free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Here's some bets that I like right now that I was able to grab. It's still relatively early in the betting week, but I believe that's the time when you want to take a bite at the apple. Just be aware that some of these lines may have moved in the last, 6 hours or so. I like the Philadelphia Eagles, laying 3 points on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. Right, folks, Sean Lee is injured. Right, Tyrone Smith, he missed time. Ezekiel Elliott, he's out, right? I believe it's over for the Cowboys. Cowboys are coming off of a devastating loss to the Atlanta Falcons. There's a lot of disarray, right? The NFL had enough of Jerry Jones, and they've sent him a cease and desist letter. Jerry, of course, is threatening to sue the league because he doesn't want Roger Goodell, who helped get Ezekiel Elliott suspended. He doesn't want Roger Goodell's contract renewed. I believe that this kind of dysfunction eventually hits the locker room. They're playing perhaps the best team in the NFC East, certainly the team with the best record. I think it's a statement game. I like the Eagles laying 3 in Dallas. Next, look, I know Brett Hundley just had a career day, right? But I'm not convinced. And he's facing a very good defense in the Baltimore Ravens, right? Full disclosure, I watched Brett Hundley when he was in college out here in the Pac-12. I'm a Pac-12 guy, right? Brett has some skills, but I'm biased against young quarterbacks. And I don't believe Brett Hundley is there yet. I like the Baltimore Ravens laying 2.5 points on the road at Green Bay. Right? Let's throw in 2 futures plays. You know, I don't know why there's any hesitation by anyone at this point to take the New Orleans Saints at a plus 500 to win the NFC. Right? Let me just say, again, I'm biased against young quarterbacks. I look at Carson Wentz, I look at Jared Goff. Those guys are too young to me. I look at Case Keenum. At the beginning of the year, he was a backup, right? I don't see the dominant quarterback play that would really challenge the New Orleans Saints. I'll concede Seattle with Russell Wilson is always a threat. But I'm one of those people who's very concerned about Richard Sherman being injured, out for the year. I consider Sherman to be one of the best in the league in the secondary. I understand that Seattle has some promising young guys and that there's a rookie up there doing all kinds of things in the secondary, right? I would feel more reassured with Richard Sherman because Richard Sherman's a guy who's played in multiple Super Bowls. Also, Earl Watson, banged up, hasn't he been? Right? This is a guy who broke his leg last year. Now he's, missing parts of games and stuff like that. Look, man, I'm not sure if Seattle takes care of Atlanta this week. We'll get clarity on that situation after this week's games. I believe you already have clarity on the New Orleans Saints. Understand, the Saints might well end up with home field in the NFC. Right? Any wiggle from Philly, somebody's going to have to tell me who's going to stop the Saints from grabbing home field. You don't want to deal with Drew Brees indoors in the playoffs. Also, to win the Super Bowl outright, I like the New England Patriots at plus 333. Let me just say this. Their big competition in the AFC are the Pittsburgh Steelers. What I want you to do is to just do a Google search. Tom Brady's record against the Steelers. It's going to take you to a site, ProFootballReference.com. that actually lists the games that Tom Brady has played against the Steelers. You're going to notice that Tom Brady beats up on Pittsburgh, right? He has some problems with Kansas City. He has no problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? This Pittsburgh team, let's just be blunt here, they're uneven, right? The Indianapolis Colts looked awfully good in the first half of their game against the Steelers this last weekend. Steelers eventually took over. But let's just say the Steelers, weren't they coming off a bye week or something like that? And the guys weren't prepared for Indy? No, I like Jacoby Brissett, right? I do. I picked Indy in that game, and they covered on a 10-point spread, right? But you got to be kidding. When a playoff team, a team people are thinking might be the 1 seed in the conference, shows up so woefully unprepared in the first half against a below 500 team, right? By contrast, the Patriots, you saw them against Denver. Now, Denver has all kinds of problems. Who is Denver's quarterback, really? Also, you know, as biased as I am against young quarterbacks, you know, I'm also biased against first-year head coaches. And Denver is a first-year head coach. But let's face it, Tom Brady carved up that Denver secondary like many of us are going to be carving up turkeys on Thanksgiving, right? The Patriots have one of the league's high-powered offenses. And let's face it, they started the season with some problems on defense. We're being charitable here. Those problems seem to have evaporated, right? I saw Osweiler hit Emmanuel Sanders with some passes. Let's just say those were high-risk passes. Let's just say Malcolm Butler was in the neighborhood on each of those passes. Let's just say I thought that the New England Patriot defense was in the neighborhood on a lot of passes from the Denver Broncos. I think New England is playing top-quality ball right now. I don't see the team in the AFC that can beat them. Let me just say, because Kansas City has had some hiccups, you get the feeling that if KC ends up playing New England in the playoffs, it's going to be in New England. Folks, it's very hard to beat Tom Brady in New England in the playoffs. I like New England here at a plus 333 to win the whole thing. Right? I don't think these odds are going to get any better. In other words, I know it's expensive, right? Plus 333. But wow, I believe you're in good hands with the defending champs, right? Deion Lewis is back. They're running the ball. I noticed that when the Patriots ran the ball to the left side of their line against the Denver Broncos, one of the league's elite defenses, they seem to be gaining yards every time. You give Tom Brady a rushing attack, and you're in a whole lot of trouble. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.